The birthday card arrived on a Tuesday morning. There was nothing unusual about it at first. A plain white envelope. My name written in blue ink. No return address. I almost threw it away. Then I noticed the handwriting. I hadn't seen it in 30 years. My hands started shaking before I even opened the envelope. Inside was a cheap birthday card with a picture of two little girls holding hands. And beneath the printed message, someone had written, "I still remember the day you promised you'd never let go of my hand." I sat down at the kitchen table. Because only one person in the world could have written that. My sister had disappeared when I was 9 years old. And now, 30 years later, she was wishing me a happy birthday. Her name was Anna. She was 4 years younger than me, which meant that when we were children, I thought I was responsible for her. Our mother used to say, "Watch your sister." I took that job seriously. Anna followed me everywhere. If I went outside, she came with me. If I built something in the backyard, she wanted to help. If I watched television, she'd sit beside me even if she didn't understand what I was watching. She was the kind of kid who asked 100 questions. Why is the moon following us? Where do birds sleep? Why does Dad always drink coffee? I usually pretended to be annoyed. But secretly, I loved having her around. Our father worked construction and was gone early most mornings. Our mother worked at a grocery store and came home exhausted. So there were many afternoons when it was just me and Anna. We had a small house at the end of a quiet street. Nothing special. But to us, it was our whole world. The summer Anna disappeared started normally. I was 9. She was 5. Our parents had been arguing more than usual, but I didn't understand why. Adults had arguments. That's what I thought. Sometimes my mother would cry in the kitchen. Sometimes my father would leave the house and not come back until late. Whenever I asked what was happening, Mom would say, "Nothing you need to worry about." So I didn't. Or at least I tried not to. One Saturday morning, my father left before breakfast. I remember him standing near the front door with a duffel bag. Anna was sitting on the floor coloring. I asked him where he was going. "Just handling some things." "How long?" He looked at me. "I don't know." Then he walked out. I didn't realize that would be the last time I saw him for years. That afternoon, Mom told us we were going to stay with our aunt for a few days. She packed clothes into 2 bags. Anna was excited. She thought it was a vacation. I wasn't. Something about Mom's face made me nervous. We drove nearly 2 hours. When we arrived at my aunt's house, Anna fell asleep in the back seat. My aunt opened the door. She looked at Mom. Then she looked at me. There was something strange about the way they looked at each other. I didn't understand it. Mom knelt beside me. "You're going to be a big help to me, okay?" I nodded. She kissed my forehead. Then she hugged Anna. I remember Anna asking, "Are you staying?" Mom said, "I'll be back soon." That was the last time we saw her. At first, I thought she'd return the next day. Then the next. Then the next. My aunt kept telling us everything was fine. I stopped believing her. One evening, I asked, "Where's Mom?" My aunt said, "She's taking care of some things." "What things?" She looked uncomfortable. "Grown-up things." I hated that answer. Then one morning, I woke up and Anna was gone. Her bed was empty. Her clothes were gone. I ran downstairs. My aunt was standing in the kitchen. "Where's Anna?" She froze. "What? Where is she?" My aunt sat down. She started crying. I had never seen an adult cry like that. "What happened?" She wiped her face. "Anna had to go somewhere." "Where?" "I can't tell you." I remember yelling. I remember screaming that she was my sister. I remembered demanding to know where she was. Nobody gave me an answer. And that was the moment something inside me changed. I stopped trusting adults. For the next few years, I asked questions. Eventually, I stopped. Every answer was vague. Every conversation ended with someone telling me I was too young to understand. At 12, I started imagining the worst. Maybe Anna was dead. Maybe she'd been taken. Maybe my mother had abandoned both of us. At 13, I stopped asking. At 15, I convinced myself Anna had probably forgotten me. That was easier than wondering every night whether she was safe. My aunt eventually became my legal guardian. She never spoke badly about my mother. She never explained what happened to Anna. And whenever I pushed too hard, she'd say, "Someday you'll understand." I hated those words. Because someday became years. I graduated high school. Went to college. Got married. Had children. My life moved forward. But there was always an empty space in it. My sister. I kept one photograph of us. We were sitting on the porch steps. Anna had a missing front tooth. I had my arm around her. She was laughing at something outside the frame. On the back, I had written, "Me and Anna. Best friends forever." I kept that photograph in a drawer. I never showed it to anyone. Not even my wife. It felt too personal. Too painful. Then, when I was 39, my aunt finally told me something. We were sitting at her kitchen table. She was getting older. Her health had started declining. She looked at me and said, "You deserve to know." My heart immediately started beating faster. Know what? She looked down. Anna is alive. I couldn't speak. I thought I had misunderstood. What? She is alive. I stood up. Where is she? My aunt began crying. I don't know. That made me angry. You just told me she's alive. I know. Then where is she? My aunt explained that after my mother disappeared, Anna had been placed temporarily with another family. That family eventually moved out of state. There had been legal complications. Names had changed. Records were sealed. My aunt had tried to locate her years earlier. She never found her. I was furious. Not at Anna. At everyone. 30 years. 30 years of believing my sister might be dead. And she had been somewhere living a life. Growing up. Going to school. Maybe getting married. Maybe having children. I wondered whether she remembered me. I started searching. I spent nights looking through old records. I searched databases. I contacted agencies. I spoke to people who had known my mother. I found nothing. Months passed. Then years. Eventually, I stopped. Not because I didn't care. Because I was exhausted. I had a family of my own. A job. Responsibilities. I told myself I'd done everything I could. Then came the birthday card. I read the message again. I still remember the day you promised you'd never let go of my hand. I remembered it. It was the summer before she disappeared. We had been walking near a lake. Anna was afraid of the water. She grabbed my hand. Don't let go. I said, never. She smiled. Promise? I promise. I had forgotten that moment. She hadn't. I turned the card over. There was a phone number. Nothing else. I stared at it for almost an hour. Then I called. A woman answered. Hello? I couldn't speak. Hello? I finally said. Is this Anna? Silence. Then I heard a small breath. Is this Michael? My knees nearly gave out. It was her. My little sister. 30 years later. We didn't know what to say. So we started with the simplest things. How are you? I'm okay. Where do you live? Colorado. Are you married? Yes. Kids? 2. She laughed. I laughed. It was awkward. It was beautiful. And it was incredibly sad. Because we were strangers who somehow knew each other's childhood better than anyone else. She told me she remembered our house. She remembered the porch. She remembered the blue bicycle. She remembered the way I used to make cereal for her when Mom was working late. Then she said, I thought you forgot me. I closed my eyes. I thought you forgot me. Neither of us spoke. Then she started crying. So we both spent 30 years thinking the other one didn't care? I laughed through my tears. Apparently. We talked for hours. Anna explained that she had grown up believing I didn't want to see her. She had been told that I had moved on. That I had another family. That contacting me would only cause problems. I told her what I'd believed. That she had disappeared. That nobody would tell me why. That I thought she might be dead. She became silent. Then she said, I wish we'd known. So do I. We decided to meet. I flew to Colorado 2 months later. I remember standing at the airport feeling like I was 9 years old again. I kept wondering what she would look like. Would I recognize her? Would she recognize me? Then I saw her. She was standing near the entrance. She had dark hair like our mother. The same smile. And for one strange second, I didn't see a 40-year-old woman. I saw a 5-year-old girl missing a front tooth. I walked toward her. She smiled. Michael? I nodded. Then we hugged. Neither of us said anything. We just stood there crying. That weekend was strange. We talked about everything. Our childhood. Our parents. The years we lost. Our marriages. Our children. Our jobs. Our fears. And the little things we still remembered. She remembered that I hated peas. I remembered that she slept with a stuffed rabbit. She remembered our old porch swing. I remembered teaching her how to ride a bicycle. It felt like opening a room that had been locked for 30 years. Dusty. Unfamiliar. But still ours. On the last night of the visit, Anna gave me something. It was a small envelope. Inside was a photograph. It was old and slightly damaged. I looked at it. It was the same porch. The same house. The same 2 kids. But this photograph had something written on the back. My brother promised he'd never let go. I looked at her. You kept this? She nodded. I carried it with me. I didn't know what to say. So I reached across the table and took her hand. I guess I finally kept my promise. She squeezed my hand. You did. We're still in each other's lives today. Not every day. Not even every week. We're adults with families, jobs, responsibilities, and lives that were built separately. But we call. We visit when we can. Our children know each other. And every year, on my birthday, Anna sends me a card. The first year after we reunited, she sent one with 2 little girls holding hands. Inside, she wrote, This time, I'm not disappearing. I cried when I read it. I still have that card. It's sitting beside the first one. Sometimes I think about the 30 years we lost. I wonder what our relationship would have looked like if we'd grown up together. Maybe we'd have been close. Maybe we'd have fought constantly. Maybe we'd have raised our children together. We'll never know. But I've stopped asking why life took her away. Because I finally understand something. Finding someone doesn't erase the years you lost. It simply gives you the chance to stop losing anymore. My sister disappeared when we were kids. For 30 years, I thought the promise I'd made to her had been broken. Then, on an ordinary Tuesday morning, a birthday card arrived and proved something I had forgotten. She remembered. She had been waiting too. And maybe that's the strangest thing about family. Sometimes the people we lose aren't really gone. Sometimes they're just living somewhere beyond the part of the story we were allowed to know. And sometimes, after decades of silence, all it takes is a birthday card to bring them home.